Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Catholic Talk Show. Today, we're going to be talking about Pope Leo. Are we worried about this guy or what?
That's right. A lot of people online are starting to get kind of worried, particularly traditionalists, about some of the things Pope Leo has done, from blessing a block of ice to his comments about a pro-life senator and more. Let's break that down and see, should we be worried about where Pope Leo's pontificate is going?
All right, man. So we got a block of ice, a senator. We did an episode where we were praising Pope Leo for not, being in the public eye, but there's certain things that have been kind of pushed up to actually permit some reporting on. And here we go.
That's right. So, there's been a couple things in the news, and, the traditional people who react to things like this, they are in full reaction mode. And we're going to break those things down, and see whether, what we should really think about them and how we can react to anything that the Pope does, whether it's Leo or Francis or Benedict or John Paul or any of them. But before we do that, make sure you click the like and subscribe button. It's the easiest way for you to participate in the Catholic mission. And here's one thing you don't have to worry about is going to catholictalkshow.com/Patreon. Easiest way to be able to support us and help us continue to do what it is we do. So, Ryan, the big one, well, there's two big ones and one other one that I think is kind of looming in the mind of people who might be concerned about Pope Leo's pontificate and the direction it's taking. And I'm going to say this with the caveat that the people who have these concerns are people who are worried that it's going to be much like Pope Francis, that the same things that they took issue with during his pontificate, we're going to see with Pope Leo. And I'm not even here to say that those are things that are legitimately concerns, right? That's not my position. I'm just talking about what is in the news. So the first one, and this one struck a lot of people as weird. And I saw people on there saying, look at this pagan stuff. And this is like, the whole Pachamama thing or whatever. So there's a conference in Rome about ecology, and Pope Leo blessed a block of ice.
It was big too. I looked it up.
This is a big block of ice. So, but now and people are like, what is this hippy dippy baloney, right? What is this blessing ice? What are we, New Ageists or something like that? Now, number one, I'll show that video, but number one, do you know the amount of things priests and popes can bless? They can bless cheese and beer and cars and babies and houses and computers and dogs, Easter baskets, water, oil, salt, candles, rings, throats, eyes, noses, shoes, clothes, candles, guitars. They can bless anything. Okay. Yeah. So let's not get bent on the shit that he blessed ice. Okay. Yeah. Number one. Number two, I think the people who took exception with this is because it was in the context of ecology, in the context of care for creation. Now, for even more context, this was at a event coinciding with the 10th anniversary of Laudato Si, which was Pope Francis's encyclical on the ecology, on the care for creation. And I don't know when taking care of creation became something that conservatives were against. I mean, in my mind, conservatives are like, yeah, we take care of the land, we take care of the livestock, we take care of the wildlife so that when we do hunt, there's proper populations. Mm-hmm. We don't litter, we take care of our ranches. Like, when did it become liberal leftyism to want to take care of the earth? That has never made sense to me, because you look at someone like Teddy Roosevelt, dude started the national park system, right? I mean, it would seem to me that conservatism should want to conserve the economy, the ecology.
He was going through a tremendous loss in his life, and nature was part of his recovery. And,
who's that?
Like Roosevelt.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Roosevelt.
Absolutely. I mean, like, the whole national park system was benefited from a president's healing and recovery from a lost loved one, right? Like, but even like taking a step back, and again, dude, blessing a block of ice, like, whatever. Yeah, dude, I got other stuff going on. You know, like if you look at creation, this is the gift of the Father to his Son, Jesus Christ. He created through Christ as a blessing, a father giving to his son, right?
Yeah.
Like, if that doesn't move you, right, I don't know what will. Everything we exist in today, in the world that we live in, is a gift from the Father through the Son, created, right?
Yeah.
Like,
through him, all things were made. Yeah.
Through him, all things were made by the Father.
Yeah. And see, and here's something like a couple of weeks ago,
ICE is
they
cool.
had, yeah, ICE is intrinsically, inherently cool. I won't even say cold. No, but here's the thing. Like a couple of weeks ago, the administration put out this thing saying that autism was possibly linked to mothers taking aspirin during pregnancy. Then you had a bunch of, liberals taking aspirin on purpose while they're pregnant to say, haha, I'm showing you, right? In their own negative interest.
And but they can't get pregnant because nobody loves them. No, I'm just
no. Okay, that's not true. They were already pregnant. Then you have these conservatives who are mad that someone wants to take care of the ecology because it's something they're less passionate about. There's so much hatred between sides that people will act against their own interests and take exception with things just because that's the party line and you're supposed to. Oh, the left likes taking care of the ecology. Well, then that must be that's liberal and that's gay and we don't do that, or the right, hey, this is not good for you, well, we're going to start taking it because it's this crazy kind of self against your own self-interest just to spite someone else. You want to own the other side. It's ridiculous. So let me play this video of the Pope blessing this block of ice here. Okay,
we're going straight to the video, dude. Live feed.
Going live feed. I think we are and what else? This block of ice.
Can I watch it too?
You can. I'm playing it right now.
Sweet.
Ryan, this block of ice is 20,000 years old, and it broke off from right. So it broke off from a glacier that's a 20,000-year-old glacier, right? So this ice right here froze 20,000 years ago, and I think the point they were trying to make is that weather, climate change, or whatever caused this glacier to break up, and this ice being broken off of something that's lasted for 20 millennium is indicative of not taking care of ecology, whether that's true or not. Okay, wherever you come on climate change, that's the intention here. Is that really that nefarious?
I would now like to invite you to stand for the blessing of the waters.
Of the what?
The waters.
I mean, if you were an ecologist, why would you take that block of ice to Rome?
To try to show the world that, hey, this glacier is breaking down because we haven't taken care of it.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the whole thing. He went and put his hand on ice and, blessed it. And then he's going to read.
I mean, it was pretty casual too. It wasn't like,
I bet you his hand's cold.
I bet. 20,000.
Lord of life, bless this water. May it awaken our hearts, cleanse our indifference, soothe our grief, and renew our hope through Christ our Lord.
Amen. I don't know about you, Ryan, but that was the worst thing I've ever seen, and I can't believe a pope would do
I can't.
That.
Like, why would a block of ice renew my hope? Like, I don't find anything like
it's water. That's just the standard blessing for. That's a standard blessing for water. Like okay. There's nothing crazy going on here, but the visceral reaction. Okay. Yeah. Is it weird? I don't know. Kind of.
Could be.
Could be. It's like, does that, I mean, the Pope blessing a block of ice kind of, it gives Bond villain a little bit, right? It's kind of new agey, but again, it's like, okay. I mean, I've seen John Paul II wearing African tribal hats and going to the ecumenical thing in Assisi and with other world religion leaders, and it's just not that big of a deal. But everyone,
it was different back then because the internet wasn't around with John Paul.
Right, I think you're right.
I mean, it's like when you saw a picture of John Paul II smiling with an African whatever, like you just like love the guy.
Yeah,
You're
cool,
like,
great.
dude, he's so cool. He's like wearing like African stuff.
Yeah, dude gets
You know,
around.
like he gets around. Exactly. He was literally the Pope that got around, right?
John
Like,
Paul II,
that
he
was
would
the
land
guy.
on he would land on a plane. The first thing you do is you kneel down and kiss the ground. Is that a pagan ritual? No, he's giving thanks for creation, that he landed safe, and he kissed the ground every time he got off of a plane while his body still enabled him to. Is anyone talking about how crazy that was? No, they're like, look at how beautiful and pious that was. The Pope comes and kisses the ground of the land he's visiting.
But they were pictures and there wasn't chatter around it. Right? Like it was it was like an article. It was like long form.
Yeah.
Right?
And there was context and you had to read it.
Right.
And you couldn't just watch 10 seconds of it and say, oh my gosh, the Pope is a neo-paganist blessing blocks of ice with a bunch of, World Economic Forum communists, right? Because
it wasn't like an effortless deliverable. It was like he got here, and when he like pointed at Castro like this, that was loving. I mean, everybody was like, oh man, he pointed in his face and he's just like, man, you got like, I'm loving you, bro. Like I never forget that picture. The first time I saw it, I was like, wow, what a guy.
All right. So, I mean, like to me, I just think, okay, kind of weird optic. I don't know.
Definitely.
But it's weird optic.
Cool block of ice though.
Yeah. 20,000-year-old block of ice to kind of bring a highlight to the fact that this glacier is breaking down after 20,000 years, whether that's man-made or whether that's a natural thing. That's not my purview. I'm not, whatever. Okay. But I could see the intent. I could see that. And it seemed pretty innocuous to me. So on a level of 1 to 10, Ryan, how bad are we freaking out about the ice block blessing?
I mean, I just found out when we started talking about doing the show.
So, I mean, is your faith shaken and rattled to its core?
No, my faith is like experiencing depression, being joyful, crying with friends. Like God came to heal the brokenhearted. He didn't come to bless ice, right? Like my whole thing now, and I'm grateful that I've been given this cross, is that I learned how real my life is. Like I live in this world of like kids and like my faith, and then it gets tested, and then when it gets tested, you break down into nothing, and God picks up little pieces of your heart and starts building them back. I don't know if I'll ever be the same.
No, of course
But
not.
if it weren't for God, like I don't know, I'd be a mess, man. I'm already a mess.
Yeah. So here's in Nigeria right now, no one's talking about this. 50,000 Christians have been murdered. 50,000 Christians have been murdered in Nigeria.
Like in the last
year.
Oh shit.
Right? Why are we not talking about this? Why are we talking about the blessing of a block of ice? Okay, because the Pope is absolutely doing things to help Nigeria, but it doesn't fit the social media narrative. It doesn't fit the outrage machine. It doesn't fit the look. I'm sorry. Look. If you're concerned about that, that is a first world Catholic problem. You're like, I don't know. I'm pretty skeptical that the Pope blessed a block of ice. That's really, that's it. It's time to become an Orthodox. Like, dude, if that's where your faith's at, I think there's a lot. Look, again, do I wish he blessed this block of ice? Probably not. I'd like the Pope to chant Latin and be obscure and whatever.
That would be cool.
I'm not the Pope.
Right.
So you know what? Not my job. But there's more things going on in this world than that to be that upset about. So am I worried about Pope Leo blessing a block of ice? Not really. I'm just not. I don't care, honestly.
And
either way,
like holiness enters into and builds upon sin, right? Like, I mean, like Jesus sitting with sinners, like all this stuff. It's like without, and I'm not, trying to say that he's doing it for a particular reason, but he's been left a legacy where this is a part of it, right?
Yeah, right.
How do we know he's not renewing that, right? Like by entering into it and saying, "Hey guys, like I'm just gonna bless it this way," right? Yeah. Like let's move. Dude, that is like way above my pay grade. way beyond anything. I prayed for the Pope today in a rosary. I did not consider the fact that he blessed a block of ice in that prayer. I prayed for his protection, his peace.
Ryan,
right? Like,
Ryan, you lost your wife.
it.
You're the single
Simple.
dad of 7 kids. You got real life things going on in your life.
Yeah.
I'm a regular dude. I got things going on in my spiritual life. Everyone's got real things to focus on, real sins to correct, real things to atone for, real mysteries of the divinity to contemplate. You can't waste your time with stuff like this. I mean, you're number one, what are you going to change? Number two, is it even that bad? And number three, if that's where you're focusing your energy and your time instead of contemplation of Christ and his wounds and the mystery of the Trinity and what he calls us to do, I mean, it just feels like a waste of time to get bent out of shape about this. It just does to me.
I was at a camp my kids wanted to go to. Everybody lost loved ones. Some were way more tragic than our situation. It was run by a hospice. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is why God died. Because of all these people that have lost everything, that he can just give them a glimpse of like hope in that reality, that this is not the end of your road. Right.
By dying, he conquered death.
We didn't choose it. It was here when I arrived. I was dead upon arrival, you know? But like, I look at that and I'm like, this is, to me, being in the situation I'm in, like, I have to like live this life.
Yeah.
And it's very real. It's very real. And it's very like tactile, and it's painful, and it's sinful, and it like all this mixed up stuff is just going all into the whole damn thing, man. And God's like right in the midst of that, and he's not letting me like fall away. Right.
Well, do you know why? It's because the Pope blessed that block of ice, and from the graces of that ice being blessed. Look, is it goofy? Whatever, but it is. We're going to go on to the next topic, and then I'll bring around the point that I want to make here. So, but there is an aspect of being the Pope, of maintaining relationships with powerful people for the good of the church. That's part of the job. So, okay. And speaking of that, and speaking of death and powerful relationships, one of the other big things that people have been kind of tripping out about is Cardinal Cupich of Chicago wanted to give a Lifetime Achievement Award to Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois for his work. Dick Durbin, great name. For his work over his lifetime for the care of immigrants, I believe was the scenario. So Cardinal Cupich wants to give him this award. Bunch of other cardinals and bishops from America called Cardinal Cupich out publicly, saying, you're giving this guy an award from the archdiocese, but Dick Durbin, Senator Durbin, has a very long record of being absolutely unequivocally pro-abortion, extremely pro-abortion, up to like partial birth abortion, potentially. I don't want to misstate his record, look it up, but it is well known that he is a very strident advocate for abortion. So these other bishops are saying, you're honoring this guy here, and they called him out on it. And there's this whole big thing, big enough to where it reached up to the Pope, and the Pope was walking out of somewhere, and someone asked him the question about it, right? And the Pope weighed in on it. And this comment also got people absolutely tripping balls. Ready? So here we go. All right, here's that clip.
Of a divisive subject in the U.S. right now, with Cardinal Cupich giving an award to Senator Durbin. Some people of faith are having a hard time with understanding this because he is he's for legalized abortion. How would you help people of faith right now decipher that, feel about that, and how do you feel about that?
I'm not terribly familiar with the particular case. I think that it's very important to look at the overall work that a senator has done during, if I'm not mistaken, 40 years of service in the United States Senate. I understand the difficulty and the tensions, but I think as I myself have spoken in the past, it's important to look at many issues that are related to what is the teaching of the church. Someone who says I'm against abortion but says I'm in favor of the death penalty is not really pro-life. So someone who says that I'm against abortion but I'm in agreement with the inhuman treatment of immigrants who are in the United States, I don't know if that's pro-life. So they're very complex issues. I don't know if anyone has all the truth on them, but I would ask first and foremost that there be greater respect for one another and that we search together both as human beings, in that case as American citizens or citizens of the state of Illinois, as well as Catholics, to say we need to really look closely at all of these ethical issues and to find the way forward as church. Church teaching on each one of those issues is very clear. Thank you very much.
All right. So, okay. All right. That was the answer. You could see right at the beginning, we got asked that question. He kind of laughed a little bit because that's a real gotcha question to hit the Pope with in an interview when he's walking out of somewhere. Okay. Two, I think, well, there's a lot to unpack there. One is, if you're for the death penalty, are you really pro-life? Well, there's been a lot of saints, a lot of popes who were completely okay. In fact, said that the death penalty was completely consistent with Catholic teaching. So there's that. From Thomas Aquinas to Benedict XVI to pretty much, I mean, there used to be a papal executioner to carry out capital punishment against the papal states. So you can't say that you are not pro-life if you believe in the death penalty. That being said, the Catechism does say, look, modern means of incarceration more or less prohibits the need for the death penalty in almost every situation. I don't know if that's entirely true, but that's the teaching of the church. I mean, I could think of instances on battlefields or, is it
it's insightful what you're saying, right? Because
but is it capital punishment if a police officer takes down somebody with a gun, right? Like in a school shooting, is that not pro-life, right? Because I mean, is that capital punishment? Sort of.
But that's the nuance there, right? Like incarceration versus killing somebody to save your life or others.
Which is abortion too, though.
Right.
Because, when you're doing abortion, I mean, you're hiring a hitman to take care of a problem. And that problem is a baby.
That's the lie. That's the lie.
And I think that's the thing most people are taking exception with is the equivocation of abortion with the death penalty. And I think this is commonly called the seamless garment, right? Oh, well, if you're not for the ethical treatment of immigrants, then you're not pro-life either. Which, look, there is some truth to everything being said there. Look, if you're not, if you don't want to care for the stranger, the poor, and the immigrant, like the Bible says consistently, there's a problem. If you don't want to limit the need for capital punishment and don't dream of a world where it's not necessary, then there's a problem. But also, if you think that abortion is just another issue amongst many, that's also a problem for a lot of people. Terrible. And I think for myself too.
It's terrible. It's terrible to lump abortion into like issue-driven rhetoric.
Right.
It is the largest human depravity we've ever seen, taking the life of a child, like without question. Like
more children have died since the passing of Roe v. Wade. More human beings have been killed than in all religious wars in human history combined.
Yeah,
Ryan.
I didn't know that.
Easily. Everyone's like, oh, religion kills people. I would take the 100 Years' War and all the Crusades and every religious war of every faith, whether it's Hindu, Muslim, Catholic, Christian, Jewish, Native American, Aboriginal religions. You put them all together, they have killed far less in all of human history than abortion has in just the last 50 years.
Yeah.
So,
like, what I love Elon Musk's position, whether you like him or not, on the birth rate and how there's a declining system that we've found ourselves in. But what I hate about it is he doesn't bring up the merciless killing of so many children. Like, it's just like, there's your gap, right?
That's the whole gap. It's not the
if we're
it's not
looking
the
at
fact
graphs,
that people,
dude, that's your gap. Gap is murder. Like, it's like, and
you know,
believe me,
when
dude, like, I sympathize. Like, even myself having children, I have felt the overwhelming burden of how am I going to take care of this kid? Or like Jim was like, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh, like I thought we did this timing thing right. You know what I mean? Like,
sure,
that was there. But the fear in people of children is like the innocence of children and the fear of adults, right? Or people who can form their own conscience and ideas. That gap in our society is what we're looking at right now. It's not the declining birth rate.
We've aborted ourselves into demographic obsolescence.
Oblivion.
I mean, people, yeah,
Oblivion.
people always, we have a negative birth rate. Well, you aborted 100 million humans in America alone. Well, there's not going to be enough Social Security to pay for the retiring baby boomers. Yeah, because the baby boomers aborted all their children, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality of it. And we continue to do today. But, looking at what the Pope said, he's like, okay, number one, that is not a super well thought out, planned, controlled situation where you can have a really coherent argument.
That's right.
He got hit in a interview and dropped it. And he's trying to say, he even said, look, I don't know a ton about the situation. We have to look at the whole record. Has Senator Dick Durbin done some good things? I am sure that he has. I'm not familiar with this record, but I'm sure that he has. After 40 years, it's not just been all.
He's a Chicago politician.
Sure.
So we can think about stuff there.
So, one can say, well, was Cardinal Cupich giving him an award for his work on abortion? Probably not. Even like Pope Leo just said there, the church's teaching on that matter is very clear. Was he giving him an award for his work for immigrants? That was the intent. Now, but he supports abortion. Well, I love Rome. Rome, I would move to Rome, Ryan, if I could swing it. We should create an office there.
Let's do it.
But you go up to
you got to get out of here.
Right? You go up to see, I could live in Rome easily. So you walk up to St. Peter's and you see the main facade. And if you're staring at it on your left, there's that huge gate, right, where the Swiss Guard are at. And that's where like the Pope Mobile comes out and the dignitaries go in and out. Right in that huge arch right there, that's called the Gate of Charlemagne, right? There's a ginormous statue of Charlemagne on a horse. That's a pretty big award to give to a secular politician ruler, right, Ryan? That the biggest statue in the Vatican is of Charlemagne, and the gate's named after him. I love Charlemagne. I absolutely love Charlemagne, Charles Martel, Louis the Pious.
Right.
That's
the golden era.
I love the Carolingians.
Yeah.
But you cannot say that Charlemagne was pro-life. Dude was splitting people's heads open with a freaking axe. He was wiping out entire civilizations and killing 50,000 people at a time. Now, that's in the context of war. I get it. But it was brutal. But no one's saying that that's a problem. And I'm not saying that's a problem. I love the statue of Charlemagne. Charlemagne's the father of Europe, right? I think that statue belongs there. But by the same standard that people are complaining about Dick Durbin, you'd have to tear that statue down. And that's when we get into this whole cultural thing where we're tearing down statues. We got to get rid of Thomas Jefferson. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson did some problematic stuff. He also wrote the Bill of Rights. And then the Declaration of Independence. I mean, you want to tear down statues of Civil War leaders because of what they did in the context of, almost 200 years ago, whatever.
That's like somebody examining my life of grief and saying, you didn't do this right. You didn't do this right. How dare you? Like, and it's just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, we're all like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
yeah.
I've never done this before. So like we can examine anybody's life. And,
of course.
And extract anything from it because we're all falling short.
Nobody's worthy of any of it. Nobody's worthy of any of it. That's the point. Now, I get it. It's bad optics to give a super pro-abortion senator an award from the archdiocese. But you also probably have to think, Dick Durbin's probably done a lot to help the diocese there. Yeah. He's probably raised a ton of money. He's probably shown up to fundraisers. He's probably helped pass bills that probably made them not have to declare bankruptcy from sex abuse scandals. I mean, there's probably been a lot of realpolitik that goes into being friends with the senator. Yeah. And the senator being at least nominally on your side.
It's an unfortunate thing. But it's humanity.
That's the thing I was talking about earlier, when, there's some reality where, Cardinal Richelieu, he'll make during the wars, of French religion, he was making partnerships with the Protestants against other Catholics because it would be better long-term for the church. And thank God we're not in that position, but popes, cardinals, bishops do stuff like that all the time because they are part politician, they have, a secular kind of,
everybody can't
reality.
Everybody can't be Bishop Toops from Beaumont, Texas.
Everyone loves Bishop Toops.
No, but everybody can't be that guy. He's just perfect.
Look, but here's the thing. Let's say Bishop Toops becomes Pope, God willing, and Bishop Toops is amazing. We did an episode with him.
I love the guy.
Right when he was elevated to bishop. But the point is okay, dude, you're going to have to go meet with Vladimir Putin, who has killed a lot of people. You're going to go have to meet with the head of the government of Saudi Arabia, who makes it illegal to have a Catholic church in this country and absolutely oppresses Christians and have killed people wholesale. You're going to meet with the leaders of Islamic factions who are killing people in Nigeria, 50,000 people alone. You have to meet with these people. Jesus Christ met with tax collectors. He met with
he forgave people from a cross that he was tortured on.
Right. But again, he called them to conversion. But there is part of the reality that, look, Dick Durbin probably has raised a lot of money for the church, and it's a good relationship for a cardinal to maintain. And if you're giving him an award for one thing and not the other, look, Ryan, if I went to church every Sunday and I could only receive communion for only the good things that I've done, right, in my life, no one's ever going to get communion. That's why we have confession, right? That's why we have
you'd never be healed.
You would never be, no one is good enough. Now, was it ill-advisable for Cardinal Cupich to give this award? I don't know. If Cardinal Cupich ever wants to run ideas past me, he can have my number. I'd be happy to talk to him about things and say, I might read this way. But I'm not in that position. I probably wouldn't have done it. But again, I'm not a cardinal archbishop. I don't think it's a good idea. I think abortion is an absolute reprehensible sin that cries to heaven for vengeance. But then, Pope Leo also brought in immigration into this and the care of immigrants. Okay. That's a big subject right now because the world is really, you're seeing mass migrations like we haven't seen in 1,000 years. And a lot of people are really bent out of shape because it's changing the fabric of society, changing the color and complexion of society. People feel like the things that they know and love and that they want as their home are being changed. And I understand that sentiment. But it's also this absolute disregard for human beings who are trying to either make a better life. Look, dude, if I lived in El Salvador, I will climb any fence to get my family into the United States. Not a damn question.
I don't know.
There's not a fence.
Oh, yeah. El Salvador. Yeah. I was thinking Costa Rica. I'll probably say that.
No, Costa Rica is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll climb a fence to get into Costa Rica.
Yeah, me too.
But the point is that it's become like this neo-paganism where compassion for the downtrodden is looked at as like this weakness, like we're Germanic disciples of Thor, where the weak should be driven out and babies who aren't perfect should be left out on the rocks to die from exposure. Like there's an ugliness showing that people are forgetting the compassion and the love of the gospel. I promise you, and this is terrible. This is going to be hard for people to hear because it's such a hot button issue. Jesus Christ will be much more pleased with you by you giving shelter and a glass of water to a poor immigrant regardless of the reason that they came, than he is that you put a tweet onto X about shifting demographics and the change that it's going to do to your tax burden. I know that as a fact.
It's
it
like
doesn't
an
make
echo
it easy
chamber.
though. Being alive is difficult. There's crazy, complex situations. And the point is that everyone's so bent out of damn shape about everything the Pope says. Man, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Go to church, pay your taxes, love your kids, eat healthy, sleep
And
well.
I can barely
pray.
do that. Right?
Like, you can't even do that. None of us can do that.
I can't
That's
even
the
do
point.
that, man.
So for me to sit there and lose my mind every time the Pope says something a little bit, off, that's it's a fool's game, man. It's not going to lead you to Christ. That's not your job. Your job is not to be the political oversight of what the popes and the bishops are saying. Your job is to give obedience to the church. It's your job. That's what you're called to do as a Catholic. And I get the instinct to say that's kind of weird, but dude, lighten up and focus on the cross,
That will never happen because, in a perfect world it would, but we don't live in a perfect world. And there's this insightfulness and this chamber of the internet that people are in where it's far more compelling than me trying to get my act together and being drawn away by sin. Yeah. Right? Like there's something about it that gives people a voice that they should never have. Right?
Yeah.
They should never have these voices in their lives. Like it's almost like a Orwellian type thing. You're just like, what are we all this distracted? Like to where that comment you made on whatever it is important. And it's almost like we live on this shelf of like the internet, and then all the other realities that we're in are dismissed.
Right. And it's all a lie. It's all distraction. Like if you've got time to spend an hour a day on the internet complaining about the Pope blessing a block of ice or the intricacies of how cardinal archbishops and popes deal with politicians and how they address certain issues, you're probably neglecting something in your life that's more beneficial for your salvation. Take that time and read the Bible, pray, do a rosary, go work at a soup kitchen, go visit an old folks home, raise money for orphans.
Incarnate yourself in reality like Jesus did.
There you go.
Dude, like I say that, but it's hard, right? No, like it's hard to, because
what's not hard?
Do that with human beings in relationship. There is a barrier that's been, I think, created by the internet where we find this place and there's no relationship there.
Dude, like it's so much easier to bitch on the internet than it is to go out and do the real thing. Yeah, I'm a great Catholic.
Real thing.
I'm a great Catholic, and I know the inner workings of the bishops, and I know which bishops and cardinals are aligned, and I know what the next papal exhortation is going to be about, and I have a real strong opinion about it.
And you live an easy life.
That's real freaking easy. It's real easy to do that. And I'm not saying that there's no place for that.
No.
I'm not saying that there's people who don't do that very well. Even some of the people who are negative or critical of some of these things. There's some people who do that very well.
Compelling. Yeah.
But it's not for everybody. In general, like, look, if you could be doing the corporal acts of mercy and the spiritual works, and if you could be focusing on your family and your prayer life, you're just going to be better off. So look, it sucks that we always have these things. We saw it a ton when Pope Francis was the Pope. And this is kind of the first big storm that we're seeing under Leo.
Sure.
Are we worried about Leo?
Yeah.
Are we worried? I don't know. No, I wasn't even worried about Francis because honestly, he's the Pope. I'm just some dude and I'm just trying to do my best.
So there's a bigger looming technology environment here because I can't separate myself from this right now.
Yep.
Where I think there's going to be this like massive removal of this, like where we are right now. And AI is going to be like working and it's going to be solving a lot of big problems that took years to solve. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to have this like dimension of society industrial dimension of society that it gives us more time, right?
Yeah.
Like there's going to be this like proverbial Band-Aid that's like massive that rips off of humanity because everything is being run by, well, not everything, but like increasingly you're going to have more technology maneuvering in society and people are going to be, they're going to have time, right? And that time is, there's going to be this like violent.
Well, it will have no purpose because the human being's
Right.
purpose is to create and provide and the dignity of work. And when they don't have that, their time is just going to be spent on the same stuff that, you know, is spent on in the parlors of 19th century Austria, where you're sitting there coming up with communism and all sorts of crazy philosophies and all these bad ideas that came out of Marx and
which is a bad
force
behind leisure, right? Like
it's
a bad force behind.
This is a good point, Ryan. You're right, because all this outrage is coming from the point of leisure. That's a great point.
Yeah. And the thing is like leisure is like, it's connectivity, right? It's like, hey, yeah, we believe this and we love our families, but we can just sit and talk. And that's okay. And we don't have to talk about what's on the internet. Like, can we just like be humans to get like, we've lost that art, and it is an art.
Sure.
It's an art of friendship. Like, you know, I'm talking to my neighbor across the marsh over here and I'm like, Raphael said he's got a girlfriend and it's your daughter. And it's because she kissed him on the cheek.
Oh, and I was like, oh boy, I'm calling Jason Everett. It's time for it.
But like, there's like this friendship, right? Where we're joking around, we're talking, we're neighbors, right? Yeah. To me, that is the most important thing I have in my life. Like, like even you just like hanging out before the show. It's just like, you're like playing the guitar and we're just like hanging out. I'm like, that's the art of like life and friendship and leisure. Yes, we have to go do things. We have to be in our society. We have to like answer questions about the Pope blessing ice, right? Ice, baby. But at the end of the day, it's like, where have we connected? It's in Ireland, where we're like, you know, these are things that we take with us forever. Like all the meaningless, they're meaningful, but they're meaningless in the big picture, right?
Right.
You know,
you mentioned Ireland, and you know that was one of the first
Papa John's
we took.
John.
No, it wasn't Papa John's. It was, I think, called Apache Pizza. Anyway,
Papa John's. So
me and you went to Ireland. It was a great trip. We did some cool stuff, and I am very happy to announce that our next pilgrimage, and everyone has been asking for it for years, will be going to Ireland. We are going to be going next June. We're going to be going to Ireland, and we're going to be doing all the cool things, Ryan. We're going to, one of the places.
Dude, you're getting the stat back, man. I haven't been on these things, and I'm like, I am like pumped.
Oh yeah, it was great having Thad. It was great having Thad, but it's, you know, you were definitely sorely missed too. So hopefully Thad can go with us and then add your spice in. But we're going to go to places like the Hill of Slain, Ryan, where me and you went, that old broken down Benedictine church where St. Patrick lit the first fire. We're going to go to the grave of St. Patrick. We're going to go to the shrine where Our Lady of Knock appeared. We're going to go to the Cliffs of Moher. We're going to go so many great places. So wait for that announcement. We're going to Ireland, June of 2026. As soon as it's available, this trip, 100% going to sell out so quick. Everyone, all of our listeners have been asking about it for years and years and years. I'm just going to tell you, that's going to be a lot more fun than sitting there bitching on the internet about a block of ice. And that's going to be the real thing. We're going to be doing a pilgrimage. We're going to be praying. We're going to be receiving the sacraments. We're going to be meeting people. We're going to be praying at shrines. We're going to be seeing culture, drinking a Guinness, listening to some Irish music. That's real life. And that's, you know, and here's the thing. I don't think that people getting upset about this is completely out of line or not understandable. I get it. It's weird, or you don't like it, or it's, you know, honestly, like it is bad optics to give a pro-abortion senator an award. I get it.
Yeah.
There's just bigger things in life to do than to worry about that. So am I worried about Pope Leo? I'm just not. Number one, I trust that the church will never fail. I trust that the Holy Spirit is guiding him. I trust that Pope Leo is a great guy who is very considerate and thoughtful and will shepherd the church, and that he will be a good vicar of Christ. I really,
Dude, he watched
I'm
the
not worried about that.
conclave on a plane to the conclave. Like,
Yeah.
how, I mean, obviously a horrible choice, but
The movie wasn't that bad. It was just a stupid twist.
right. But like, that just shows you how
Human.
regular like
Yeah.
he is, man. Like
Yeah.
he's not, I don't know, politician. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not worried about Pope Leo, and you shouldn't either yet. And like I said, if you start getting worried about these things, go talk to your children and read a scripture verse to them. Go talk to them about a particular saint. Go out and visit someone you haven't visited. Go to an old folks home and see what they need. Go to the local food shelter and see if you can volunteer. I promise you, your time is better spent doing that than tripping out over every little next thing that comes up on the internet that the outrage machine puts in front of your eyes for engagement, so that more people see the post, so that more advertisers can buy advertisers, so you buy more stuff, so some dude somewhere else is making money. Because that is how the whole chain of command works in this, is that they are using your outrage to sell goods, so some dude who already has too much is making more money. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Brian, it's true.
Dude, that was like very well said.
But it's true. That's how it works. Your outrage is being used against you to sell you stuff you don't want by people you don't know, who are using their money to do the exact stuff that you're bitching about.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Go do the stuff that Christ asked us to do.
And that's why it's so hard for us to do that.
Right.
Because
And that's,
there's lots of money and lots of smart people like doing that.
Ryan, it's one of the things people are always like, why don't you cover this? And why don't you do this? And why aren't you more this way? And our show, Ryan, if we were out there feeding the outrage machine, we'd get so many more views. But dude, I wouldn't do it. I'm not doing it. I'm just not interested in that. I like what we do. We're positive. We're realistic. And I hope that we focus on the things that really matter in people's lives. And I hope that you are better off from having watched us, because that we have a really realistic and faithful view on life and on the church. If that's something you appreciate, you can go to CatholicTalkShow.com/Patreon. You can help support us. We can't make this show without you. We rely on your support to be able to grow. Since we're not doing the salacious thing, we're doing it, we think, the right way. It's your support that allows us to continue making the show. And if you go on CatholicTalkShow.com/Patreon, you'll see all the different ways you can support us. Very low dollar amounts, just a couple bucks just to help it keep going. And we got great stuff to give you in return, like sacramentals, rosaries. We got hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, and all sorts of great things. So if you can consider that in your charity and in your generosity,
whatever
really
happened to our
it.
Vampire Slayer kit?
They sold out. They sold out. And it's kind of hard to source those, Ryan.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, we bought those. Van Helsing didn't pay his bill on his storage unit, and I got like 20 of them, and then we sold them, and then after that it was it. So,
all right. Well, but there's other stuff.
So Ryan, level 10 to 1, how much are you freaking out about Pope Leo?
I mean, I got inside it a little bit here, but it seems like we started talking about other stuff, so not a lot.
Right, because other stuff's probably more interesting and real anyway. So
yeah.
Ryan, always good talking to you. I hope it's all going well. I know all your struggles are more real and more immediate and more edifying than the block of ice or in a word at a banquet dinner. So I hope, for me, those are the things that I'm worried about.
Yeah. And I just, for some reason, just keep thinking about Vanilla Ice for some reason. I mean, it's just, my kids and everything. But
old Robert Van Winkle.
Yeah, good talking to you. And like, it was a really good episode. I feel like I'm like coming out of a shell here, and we're getting back to it. We're gonna get back into a studio. Like, these things are starting to actually heal my soul, and it's good. It's good. We thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.